Welcome to the colony.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, gamers and story lovers. Welcome to Games and Stories. We'll be making the debut of our channel with Gothic 1. Gothic 1 is a game launched by Pyranha Bytes back in 2001, and it's an old school, fully voiced RPG. It has a focus on immersive storytelling, reactive gameplay, and general good world building. So, without further ado, let's jump into the story. After you.
The kingdom of Murtana, united by King Robar II. During the long years of his reign, he was able to defeat all foes of his realm. All except one. The war against the orcs took its toll, and the prisoners of the realm were to pay the price. The king needed swords for his army, and every man guilty of a crime, no matter how insignificant, was forced to work in the ore mines of Khorinis. To make it impossible for them to escape, the king sent out the best magicians of the kingdom to create a magic barrier around the entire valley. I was one of them. Something disturbed the delicate structure of magic. We were trapped inside our own barrier. 1 second of negligence was enough for the prisoners. Khorinis was now under the control of the convicts. The king had no choice. He had to negotiate. He needed the ore. Month after month, the king supplied everything the prisoners needed. Month after month, they brought the ore to the edge of the barrier in exchange. Until the present day, another convict was brought to the cliff. He did not know, but he would change everything.
In the name of King Robar II, bearer of the scepter of Verant, I sentence this convict to...
Stop! Convict, I've got an offer to make you. This letter must reach the leader of the Magicians of Fire.
You're wasting your time.
You may choose your own reward. They'll give you anything you ask for.
Very well, I'll take your letter. On one condition. Spare me the rest of his nonsense.
How dare you!
Keep silent. Right, send him in.
Welcome to the colony.
That's enough. Leave him alone. And now scram! Get up. I'm Diego. I'm not interested in who you are. You've just arrived. I look after the new arrivals. That's all for now. If you plan to stay alive for a while, you should talk to me. But of course, I won't keep you from choosing your own destruction. Well, what do you think?
Okay, what do I need to know about this place?
We call it the colony. You'll know already that we produce ore for the king. Well, at least we do, in the old camp. There are 3 camps within the barrier. The old camp is the biggest, and it was the first.
How do I get to the old camp?
You just follow this path. The old camp is the next reasonably safe-looking place you'll come across. There are a lot of wild beasts between the camps. You'd be mad to walk around without a weapon.
Where do I get a weapon?
When you get to the old mine, have a look around. I'm sure you'll find something useful. The mine is easy to find. It's just a few meters along the canyon.
Why did you help me?
Because you needed help. Otherwise, Bullet and his boys might have killed you. And I couldn't just stand by and watch, because I came all this way to make a suggestion.
A suggestion?
Yes. After this little incident with Bullet and his guys, you should be aware now that you need protection. Everyone who arrives here has a choice. There are 3 camps in the colony, and you'll have to join one of them. I'm here to show the new ones that the old camp is the best place for them.
Where's Bullet now?
He and the others bring the goods from the outside world into the camp. You'll find him there. But if you plan to fight him, be careful. He's an experienced warrior.
I have a letter for the High Magician of the Circle of Fire.
Really?
I was given it by a mage shortly before they threw me in here.
You're lucky I can't afford to show my face around the mages anymore. Anyone else would gladly slit your throat for that letter. That's because the mages pay their couriers a lot, and most people here don't have anything. If I were you, I'd shut up until I met one of the mages. Although in your situation, that's not likely to happen.
Why not?
The mages are in the castle in the old camp. Only Gomez's people are allowed to enter the castle.
Who's Gomez?
Gomez is the most powerful ore baron. He's the boss of the old camp, the most powerful man in the colony.
Let's assume I want to join his people. What do I need to do?
At the gate of the castle, you'll find a man called Thoris. Tell him Diego sent you.
Thanks for your help.
We'll meet in the old camp.
Alright, so we're gonna begin our adventure as a prisoner. And it's a lovely morning to be a prisoner, said no one ever. Alright, so Diego is going down the path, but before we're gonna follow him, we're gonna just explore the meeting place, the exchange place, right here for a second. So we got the torch. We got, let's see, we got an ore nugget and the beer. Now, before we proceed, I just want to show you why you can't just exit the Valley of Mines, the barrier. Basically, the barrier is reactive, so if you want to go through it, you'll first get a shimmering warning like this, and then you're gonna be zapped and thrown back. Now, we're basically a prisoner right now, so we should do what Diego just told us to do. I'm not gonna load the game, I'm just gonna keep it as it is. So, about the game, I'm gonna put it in the video description exactly what mods I'm using and what patches I'm using, just in case you wanna use the same loadout. So, let's continue forward, shall we? So we have a ladder up here, and we're gonna talk to these guys and let's see what they have to say. Hello, Ori.
What are you doing here?
Making sure no one gets near the exchange place, especially one of those cutthroats from the new camp. You're the new guy they chucked in today, right?
That's me.
Then you'd better watch out for the guys from the new camp. I work for the old camp, same as the others you saw at the exchange place. I assume you've talked to Diego.
Yep, we have.
Yes, I have.
Good. Then you know what's what around here.
Why do I have to watch out for the guys from the new camp?
Compared to the new camp, the old camp's a quiet, peaceful sort of place. The new camp doesn't get any deliveries from the outside world. Most of the rogues there just steal whatever they need.
And the old camp?
The ore barons have everything under control. Next in line to them are the guards, followed by the shadows. The diggers are the lowest. Everyone who arrives here starts out as a digger. If you want to become something better than that, you'll have to get accepted as a shadow first.
When I was washed ashore, one of the guys punched me in the face.
They do that to all the newcomers. They call it standing godfather.
Oh, are all the guys like that in the old camp?
We do have a few suckers, but they won't touch you as long as you pay them protection money.
I saw a woman being sent down with the goods.
Yeah, the ore barons get everything they want.
Do you mean to say the king exchanges women for ore?
They're convicted criminals too, of course. But if Gomez hadn't asked for them, they'd be sitting in some dungeon or other. I'm not sure what's worse.
I'm looking for a weapon.
There should be some old weapons by the derelict mine, further down the canyon. But don't go and start a war with nothing but a rusty pickaxe for a weapon. Those things are slow and heavy. An inexperienced fighter should never use one of them, unless it's an emergency. You'd better make sure you reach the old camp in one piece.
And what do you have to say?
How's it going?
Good. None of the rogues from the new camp are to be seen anywhere.
Alrighty, let's jump down. So, we have a meat bug, which is an exceptionally large insect, but it's non-hostile, so we're just gonna punch it to death. And we're gonna take its meat, bug meat. Now, normally we can eat this, just to get some hit points back, but we're actually gonna save it for a quest later on. And there's your buddy. I'm gonna kill you too. Now, Gothic 1 doesn't have an actual tutorial. Very few games back in the day actually had tutorials. Most of them came with a manual that explained everything that you needed to know. And Gothic 1 was no exception to that rule. So let's see, we have some coins here, some arrows, torches, and a picklock. Okie dokie, but no weapon. Now, Diego told us there would be a weapon by the old derelict mine. So there should be a pickaxe right here. Now, here's one cool thing Gothic 1 does. You're an inexperienced fighter, right? So we just got ourselves a rusty pickaxe, which isn't an exceptionally good weapon. And because we have no idea how to use it, the attack animations are gonna be awkward and they're gonna look janky. So these are basically the attack options with the pickaxe. And this is by design. A lot of players complain about Gothic 1's combat system because they don't understand how the design was made in the first place. You're gonna see later on, when we're actually gonna learn how to fight, that the attack animations actually change the better we become with a certain weapon type. You can see in the right side there are basically 4 types of weapons: one-handed, two-handed, bows, and crossbows. And we're unskilled in pretty much anything right now. So naturally, in the beginning, many players are gonna complain that the game is way too hard and all that. Now, right here is we have our first enemy, which is a juvenile mole rat, sort of bald rat. And I'm just gonna let it approach, and we're gonna keep it at bay. It took a slight bite out of us, and we're nearly dead. So what do we have here? Nor nugget and somebody that got stabbed in the back with a rusty sword. Gothic 1, by the way, does amazing environmental storytelling, and you're gonna notice that a lot as we're playing, especially in Gothic 2 and other games. Now, we got a rusty sword, which is a one-handed weapon, which is just slightly better than what we have right now. We have some rice schnapps, okay. And anything else around here? No. Now, right up here, as we're looking up, is our first semi-secret of the game. But first, we're gonna just eat some blueberries we found because we wanna heal up. Okay, we have... And let's drink some rice schnapps, shall we? And yeah, by the way, Gothic 1, for an old game, actually had a lot of animations for its time. It had way more animations than games like Morrowind or Oblivion, which came way after Gothic 1. Let's see, what do we have here? Some arrows, some coins, and some beer. Alrighty, nothing fancy. So what do we have here? a pickaxe that was lodged in this guy's skull. That's a story right there. So yeah, as I was saying, the combat. The combat feels janky in the beginning because your character doesn't actually know how to fight. So on the left here we have a plant. Okay. And a lot of people complain that the combat is, you know, weird and such, but it's actually explained in the game. It doesn't have a proper tutorial, but everything is explained in the game through NPCs and dialogue. And this is the second enemy of the game, which is a juvenile scavenger, which is a flightless bird, which doesn't pose much of a problem for us. Okay. Now, another cool thing Gothic 1 does, by the way, and I'm gonna go back to the combat thing in a second, is that animals don't actually attack you outright. Like this guy over here, first he warns us, and because we're encroaching on its territory, right, which makes sense, and then starts charging us, which is realistic animal behavior. Like, think about it this way: most animals in nature, in the wild, don't actually want to fight you. They really don't want to kill you, and most animals, unless they're starving, will not actually attack you. So what do we have here? A club, a healing potion, some more blueberries. Alrighty then. And it's a cute little detail, which honestly most RPGs and games today still struggle with, you know, realistic animal behavior. A lot of RPGs, you know, start the game with you like killing 10 wolves or killing 20 giant spiders and such, but those wolves actually never have a realistic behavior in the first place. Now, our third enemy in the beginning, it's probably going to be the most dangerous enemy, which is a goblin, which is a little dangerous short creature that can actually do a lot of damage to you in the beginning. And come on, you little gobbler. Okay. Victory. And let's kill this flightless bird so we have a nice vista overhead. So, one little hint for combat I want to give you: instead of waiting out the animation for seeing how they finish the animation to intimidate you or warn you, just close the distance as fast as you can and start attacking them. You're gonna most of the time you're actually gonna have an advantage doing that. Now, this is a lovely view. Now, I know the graphics don't seem amazing for you guys. I mean, it's 2023, right? But back in 2001, this is not vanilla Gothic, by the way. This is Gothic 1 with just a few graphical touches. But this is the colony. This is the barrier, the prison in which we're gonna have our little adventure in. Now, up ahead is the old camp where we're supposed to go. And this, down there, that's the path we need to take through the canyon. Now, back in 2001, by the way, the render distance was very, very small, so we couldn't see all these details in the distance. Now, there's a reason for that. Like, you see these unfinished mountains here, you can actually see the unfinished textures over there. Yeah, that's because normally the render distance wasn't that high. And, yeah, it's still a nice way to view the entire map from up here. Now we're gonna go back down and continue on the path Diego told us to go. By the way, you can tell this is a German European game because in the beginning he said it's just a few meters down the canyon. So we're gonna go down the path very carefully here by jumping. You can easily die if you don't jump. Okay. Alrighty then. So, the jumping animations, by the way, look a little awkward, but I actually like them. So let's continue down the path Diego told us to go. So what do we have down the path? Down the path we have something that looks like... Yeah, it looks like an ambush site. Have an arrow here, a torch, a guy that was hanged, an old sword. Let's check out this old sword we just picked up. So yeah, it's just slightly better than our rusty sword. Now, we're gonna close the gap as fast as we can, and we're gonna get a couple of hits in because we did that. Now, what do we have here? What do we have here? We have a club, some arrows. So yeah, clearly this was an ambush site. So yeah, combat in the beginning, by the way, can seem a little rough, can seem a little hardcore, and many players complain that the game is unforgiving or difficult, but at the same time you have to keep in mind, hey, you're a prisoner that doesn't know how to fight. Your weapons are basically a rusty sword. You have no armor, no training, and naturally you're not supposed to be great at fighting in the beginning, which is something many players have difficulty adjusting to mentally when a lot of games treat you like the main hero, the super guy who's supposed to save the world and all that. No, Gothic 1 doesn't take that approach. It takes a realistic approach. In the beginning, we're nobody, we're nothing, and anything and everything can kill us. And honestly, I love that. I love that realistic, grounded approach it has to basically who you are. You don't even have a name, and we don't have a name because this is intentionally made, so we actually feel it's our story, not some guy's story. Now, we have a couple of roguish looking individuals here. Let's see what they have to say.
Hey, you.
What do you want?
I want to warn you. If you continue this way, you'll be entering our hunting ground.
What do you hunt?
Mostly scavengers. There's a lot of meat on them. Besides, it ain't too hard to get them, once you know how.
Really? How's that?
Ask my friend Drax here. He knows more about these things than anyone.
Why is this area so dangerous?
You've just arrived, haven't you? There are different areas in this colony which are all more or less dangerous. The paths between the camps are quite safe, but even there you might come across some wolves which look on you as easy prey. And that's exactly what you are until you get a proper weapon and armor.
Where can I get better equipment?
The nearest place is that old camp. Just follow the path that brought you here. But you can get the stuff cheaper in our new camp, provided you know the right people. If you go to the old camp, ask for Mordrag. He's one of us. For just a little ore, he'll sell you the proper goods.
So yeah, that's a cool and neat thing that the world is explained to you through NPCs. And this guy he seems pretty friendly and just told us not to fight, because we have no idea what we're doing.
Tell me more about the areas of the colony.
If you travel between the camps, you'll need a map to distinguish paths and dead ends. Dead ends often lead you to dangerous canyons where you encounter creatures you'd better avoid. Do not enter the old ruins. There are too many around here, and most of them are old fortifications dating back to the time of the First Orc War. Some are abandoned orc dwellings. There are often orcs in those ruins, or even worse creatures. I'd avoid those places, especially at night. And one more hint, don't go into the forest.
Okay.
Where do I get a map?
Ask the people in the old camp. There's a cartographer living there. Maybe you can steal one of his maps. If you manage to do it, take one from me as well.
Sure, buddy.
If I manage to get them without paying, I'll take as many as I can carry.
You're all right. You should consider coming to the new camp. In case you go there, ask for Lars. He takes care of the new ones. I'm sure he'll have a job for you.
Thanks for your help.
Don't go thinking everyone's gonna be so friendly, kid. There may not be much in a newcomer's pockets, but some folks would even beat you up for a pickaxe.
I'll keep it in mind.
So I love the fact that the game basically reinforces that you are a prisoner, and you should remember that you're not some hero in a fantasy setting. No, you are a prisoner, and you shouldn't necessarily trust everybody. Now let's see what his buddy has to say.
You're hunting, aren't you?
Looks like it. What do you want?
Do you have some hints for the hunt?
I could teach you a few things, but everything has its price.
Which would be how much?
A good gulp of beer will do to start with. Then we'll see.
And you can actually see the barrier shimmering in the distance, which is a cool reminder that you are still trapped. It's ominous and nicely looking. Okay, let's give this guy a beer and let's see what he has to tell us.
Here you are. Take a beer and tell me about hunting.
And of course, he's gonna have a drinking animation.
Scavengers, that's what we call the big birds, should be attacked one after the other. It's easy to lure single scavengers from the pack. If you come too close, they'll become irritated. After a while, they'll storm in your direction. At this point, you should be waiting for them with a raised weapon. If you manage to strike the beast before it hits you, you have to keep fighting. Then you'll be able to defeat the creature without being hurt yourself. If it hits you first, well, just don't let him.
Okay.
What else can you tell me about hunting?
A lot, but it'll cost you more than a beer. If you know how, you can take the creature's teeth, claws, and skin. It's hard to get them, but they are valuable. At least every merchant will trade those things with you.
Okay, so this guy basically asks us for skill points and ore, which, by the way... Okay, let's see, you're demanding
a lot for your advice.
Possibly, but you can earn a lot of ore with this knowledge. All the animals you kill without knowing how to cut them up will just rot away. That's a wasted opportunity of skinning them and selling the fur at a high price. If I were you, I'd try to gain this knowledge as soon as possible.
He's right, actually. You should take learning how to gut animals and trophies as soon as possible. So, by the way, in this game, coins are not actually the currency. The currency, because this is a prison, are these little ore nuggets diggers mine in the various mines we're gonna find in the valley, as it's naturally called. It's called the Valley of Mines. Or the barrier, or the colony. You can use whatever nomenclature you want. So these guys are pretty helpful, and we're gonna keep going down the path, and you're gonna see a cool little detail which has to do with reactive AI. So Gothic 1 was actually revolutionary for the time for a lot of things besides being fully voice acted. One of them was the fact that NPCs actually react to animals and animals react to other animals. So you're gonna see how those guards up there in the distance, yep, they just attacked that scavenger because the scavenger was a bit too close to them. And it's a cute and lovely detail that adds more immersion to the game and more realism that, again, many games today still struggle with. Now let's see what these two guards have to say. What do we have here? Some plants. And hello there.
Hi, I'm new here.
How nice for you.
Is that the old camp over there?
No, that's the new camp. The old camp is underneath the bridge.
Okay, this guy is basically an asshole. What about you?
What are you doing here?
What's it look like? Regarding the bridge, of course. We make sure that no beasts cross the bridge.
Well, you are doing a fine job, sir.
Have you got any advice for me?
Yeah, don't go in the forest on your own. Unless you're strong enough to fight off all the beasts. Make sure you get to the old camp. They're holding a pickaxe for you.
Okay, these guys weren't so friendly. Let's eat one of the Seraphis we found. Okay, so I just quickly want to kill these scavengers and show you what happens if you...
Put the weapon away! Put it away!
Oh yeah, as I was saying.
Lucky for you, but I would have enjoyed polishing your mug.
Reactive AI, by the way, NPCs react to what you're actually doing in the game, so if you pull out your weapon...
Put the damn weapon away!
They're naturally gonna feel threatened by you. And they will pull out their own weapons. Now, let's try to kill these two scavengers as fast as possible, because we need to... Hey. And you can actually see these two scavengers in the distance fighting what I think is a bloodfly. Awesome. So, as I was saying, the world actually is reactive. Let's see if we can get some quick XP and kill that bloodfly for ourselves, maybe? Or not. Okay. So the bloodfly... Oh, is it gonna aggro us? Is it in combat with us? Or is it just a little bit bugged? No pun intended. Are you gonna attack me? I think I'm gonna die. Yep, I'm gonna die. Good thing I actually saved the game right here. So... Damn it, what's wrong with me? I actually know how to play this game. Come on, come on, come on. Attempt number 3. I'm probably gonna edit this so it's way shorter. Okay. Finally, awesome. Now. This basically happens. One of the things many people do in the beginning, they try to go into the forest and they have so-and-so luck when it comes to fighting. And it might look like we're missing a lot, but we're not actually missing. The range of the sword is actually pretty low. So the scavengers actually have a bit more range than us. Let's see, anything following us? No. Okay, let's kill this little mole rat here. And I want to show you what happens if you do try to fight a wolf. And see just how fast the game is gonna own us. And I've seen this on Steam and GOG a lot. A lot of players complain that, oh, the game is way too hard and so and so. Yeah, man, but the game just told you a couple of times, don't go into the forest on your own. You have no equipment, you're a bad fighter. Just listen to the game, it's trying to help you. So, let's approach this wolf, save the game, and I'm gonna show you what happens if you're gonna try to tangle with anything stronger than a scavenger in this game. When you have no armor and... Yep. The wolf basically just tore us to pieces. And it's gonna scratch itself. Have a good day, buddy. So yeah, basically that's what happens when you don't listen to the game. Yep. Now, we're gonna go back to the bridge. We also leveled up, and I'm just gonna make a couple of comments before we end the video, and we move on towards the old camp. Okay. What do we have here? We have a lovely river. Good immersion, by the way. The rolling of the river. Okay, so what do we have here? We have tumblers. So we finally made it to the old camp, all without dying. You know, So, we're gonna end the video right here, but before that I want to make a couple of quick comments. So, I love how the interface is incredibly immersive. It's simple, it doesn't have 1,000 little tidbits to distract you, it doesn't have a compass or a quest marker. Everything is organic and finely designed. We basically have a very simple interface. We leveled up, we have the basic things: strength, dexterity, mana, hit points, protection, and our skills on the right. It's a lovely design when it comes to showing you just how important immersive gameplay is. We only have our health bar on the lower left, and that's it, and inventory on the right if we want to open our inventory. So we're gonna end the video right here. We made it to the old camp, and I want to wish you all a wonderful day, and if it's one of those bad days, I wish you the strength and wisdom to overcome it. If you want to support the channel, I'm gonna link to my Patreon in the description. So until then, have a great day, and see you next time in the old camp. Cheers, guys.